Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, namaste, and Nissan Bulavinaka from Sydney, Australia. I am Sashi Singh, and welcome once again to Sashi Singh's Talking Point. Welcome to this weekly edition of SSTP. In episode 41 this week, we will shortly meet our chief guest. Our chief guest is a provisional candidate in the forthcoming elections, and we will talk to him very shortly, discussing matters of FICAC, discussing matters of electoral law alleged violations, speaking on other subjects as well. A lot to discuss with our chief guest, and his name will be revealed very shortly. I hope wherever you are well settled in to enjoy what promises to be a captivating, engaging, and enlightening interview with my chief guest. As always, I request that today, as we go right around the world with the powers of Facebook and YouTube, that you please share the SSTP page on your own timelines so that we may share the interview with our mysterious guest with a lot of viewers. And to ensure that you receive instant notifications for all future programs, please like and follow us. Like the SSTP page and follow us too if you can. Welcome to the Thinking People's program, Sashi Singh's Talking Point, live on Facebook and YouTube. All right. Well, to begin episode 41 of this week's Sashi Singh's Talking Point, it's time to unpack the main features of the news from Fiji and Australia. And our colleague Nikhil Singh is back today. Nikhil, it's a very, very good morning to you, and welcome back. Welcome back to the program. You've been away on work-related conferences, etc. Welcome back once more to SSTP.
It is great to be back, Kashi, and good morning to you and the viewers.
Well, Nikhil, let's get straight into your segment. Kicking off the news from Fiji, a New Zealand-based Human Rights Measurement Initiative report suggests that many people were not enjoying their civil liberties and political freedoms that included freedom of speech, assembly and association, and democratic rights. Quite interesting. Please tell us more.
Yes, Sashi, not doesn't paint a really good picture on the what's going on in Fiji. But journalist Anish Chand covered this report in the Fiji Times, which stated that Fiji has worse than average empowerment rights in the Pacific when it comes to right to assembly, right to opinion and expression, and right to participate in government. The report, which was released on the 2nd of October, said compared with other countries in the Pacific, Fiji is performing worse than average on empowerment rights. The report stated that members of trade unions were unable to march without permits, and that individuals believed to be organizers of political events were interrogated and investigated, Sashi.
All right. Now, the reluctance of the Supervisor of Elections, Mohammed Saneem, referring the ruling Fiji First Party to FICAC over alleged breaches of the electoral laws has been called out by the Fiji Labour Party. What has the FLP said?
Well, interesting, isn't it, Sashi, that opposition parties are referred to FICAC in lightning speed by the Supervisor of Elections or the Fijians Elections Office, but they appear to run 1,000 miles when dealing with the ruling Fiji First Party. As reported in the Fiji Times, FLP leader Mahendra Chaudhry has said that the Electoral Commission and the Supervisor of Elections are mandated by law to immediately report any probable breach of the Electoral Act to FICAC. He said, and I quote, "I draw their attention to the very specific provision in Section 18 of the Electoral Act, which clearly requires that they must immediately report in writing to FICAC any probable election-related criminal offence, including any criminal offence prescribed in the Act. The law is absolutely clear, and neither the Commission nor the supervisor is allowed any discretionary authority under it. They must immediately report any probable breach in writing to FICAC. Sashi, this is in relation to the Fiji First Party banner that was displayed on the Suva City Council car park building.
All right, that story did create quite a lot of coverage in Fiji. Now, the People's Alliance deputy leader Manoa Kamikamida says they are of the firm belief that the General Secretary of the Fiji First Party, Ayaz Sayed Qayyum, is severely compromised as he is seriously in an alleged conflict of interest situation. What have you got for us on this, Nikhil?
Yes, Fiji Village reported that Manoa Kamikamida maintains that she cannot be General Secretary of a political party that is contesting the upcoming elections as the ruling party, and also hold the ministerial positions of Attorney General as well as the Minister responsible for Justice for the Fijian Elections Office and FICAC. Kamikamida says if this is not conflict of interest to you, then he does not know what is. Kamikamida says more recently, the best example of conflict of interest reared its head when the Fiji First Party put up signage at the Suva Civic car park in clear breach and contravention of the law and wasn't immediately referred to FICAC. He says, in fact, Fiji First was given time to take down the sign, Sashi.
Yes, it seems the rules in Fiji are do as I say, not do as I do. As we know, the Fiji Bureau of Statistics former chief rather, Kemueli Nangama, was sacked by the Fiji First government over publishing ethnic data in the Bureau's annual survey last year. However, one of our former chief guests, Sashi Kiran from the Foundation for Rural Integrated Enterprises and Development, or FRIEND, has last week highlighted the need to have such ethnic data. Please, more on that, Nikhil.
Yes, Sashi Kiran, as reported in the Fiji Times, Sashi has said that ethnic data is crucial because it helps organizations like hers to develop effective interventions. She shared this at an International Day for the Eradication of Poverty event at the Friend headquarters in Lautoka last week. She said the collection of such data is done all over the world. She used an example on how this sort of data can be crucial when addressing issues, including health. And she said, and I quote, for example, we need to understand if diabetes is a bigger problem with which ethnic group or whether it affects more than one ethnic group. What are they eating? What is the lifestyle? Because it's a lifestyle disease in which ethnic group. Kiran said ethnic data should be made available in Fiji because it would assist in the work they carried out in communities, particularly when dealing with people at the grassroots. Sashi?
Nikhil, now talking about the data, the 2019-20 Household Income Expenditure Survey, HICE, has been released, albeit revised, as it does not contain the ethnic data, but it surely does paint a grim picture on Fiji's poverty level. What have you on this front?
Well, it tells us that Fiji's official poverty headcount rate based on the 2019-20 survey was estimated at 24.1%, which means that around 208,021 people were living in poverty during this survey period. According to the report, this means that a person in Fiji is considered poor if his or her per adult equivalent annual consumption expenditure is less than $2,179.54 per year or less than $41.91 per week. Western and Central Division recorded the highest poverty concentration with 41.6% and 32.6% respectively. Most of Fiji's poor are in the age group of 30 years and below. Sashi, this survey was conducted before the onset of COVID 19, as many of our guests on SSTP have highlighted that the poverty level, in their view, is far much more than that the the figures that are released through these surveys.
Well, poverty is poverty is poverty is poverty because our experts, for example, Professor Wadan Narsi has said, so has Mr. Gounder, who also appeared as a guest in our show, Nilesh Gounder. Um, Talking about poverty, this survey has taken, as you said, the expenditures. It hasn't, the methodology has changed, and therefore the figures will change. Paint it whichever way they want. The fact of the matter is, there is huge poverty issues in Fiji. Look, closer to home, let's have a look at a couple of stories from Australia. We start with federal politics. Nikhil, Green's party federal deputy leader Lydia Thorpe, rather, her political career is potentially over, I think. She has quit as a senator. What has led to this?
Well, the ABC revealed early on Thursday that Senator Lydia Thorpe briefly dated the ex-president of the Victorian Rebels outlaw motorcycle gang, Dean Martin, while sitting on a parliamentary law enforcement committee. Senator Thorpe acknowledged she did not disclose the relationship to the Greens party leader Adam Bend. Now, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said the revelations concerned him. In a separate statement, Senator Thorpe said she accepted she had made mistakes and had not exercised good judgment. Sashi, the senator has quit as the Greens deputy leader, but she will remain as a Victorian Green senator. Let's see if she quits Parliament altogether if this matter continues to remain a distraction for the Greens.
All right, and our federal budget will be delivered this week, Nikhil. The Pacific, are they in for a major boost in funding?
Well, again, the ABC has reported that the federal government will unveil a further boost to foreign aid to the Pacific in next week's budget, promising to lift development spending by a total of almost $1.4 billion over the next 4 years. Labor pledged ahead of the election, lifting spending in the Pacific by $525 million. It is now vowing to throw an additional 375 million into the Pacific, bringing the total aid boost for the region to around $900 million. Foreign Minister Penny Wong said the budget commitments would be a major step towards the goal of making Australia stronger and more influential in the world, Sashi.
And sticking with the Pacific, Nikhil, Australia's Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles was in Fiji last week. Visa exemptions for Fijians and the Pacific Australia Labour Mobility Scheme were discussed at the media roundtable conference. What is Australia saying about visa exemptions?
Well, Sashi, visa exemptions for Fijian citizens traveling to Australia will not happen anytime soon. Richard Miles said the issue of visa exemptions was a key focus for many Pacific Island countries, including Fiji, and that they will continue to have an ongoing conversation with partner countries in the Pacific around it. So, no exemptions, visa exemptions as yet, Sashi.
I like the words not happening anytime soon. I think it should have been, it's never going to happen because if visa exemptions are granted, full stop, um, I think Fiji will be empty. They'll all be here. Better conditions, better freedom, and better way of life, I guess. Nikhil, what do you say?
I certainly agree with you, and I should add, Richard Miles did actually emphasize on the work that is going around the Pacific Mobility Workers Scheme, where they're devoting a lot of money and investing in providing that opportunity for workers around the Pacific, including Fiji, where the opportunity is there to contribute towards the economy, but also get that reward and contribute by way of sending back remittances back home to the respective countries, Sashi.
All right, Nikhil. That's all on your plate?
Well, Sashi, I have earlier this morning received a note which I do want to share because this is quite an important news story, I would say. The Fiji Trades Union Congress National Secretary Felix Anthony, he was allegedly charged in 2019 for breaching the Public Order Act, and the charge was sanctioned for alleged false statement made by Felix Anthony to a news reporter, which had supposedly caused public anxiety. This has been a matter that's been going on since 2019, Sashi. I'm now told that this matter is going to trial starting tomorrow.
Wow. Okay. Well, we haven't heard that in the news so far, but your sources have told you the matter is in court tomorrow. We wish Felix Anthony all the very best. That's the way justice is done, in the sense that it's taken 3 long years for it to get to a hearing stage. All right, Nikhil, anything else we've done for the day?
Yes, before I move on to another important quick subject, I do want to also share that the international trade union community is keeping a very close watch on this, Sashi, as they have deplored the actions of the authorities in Fiji, where they have harassed trade union officials and members. So I think we'll certainly have a follow-up in our next program on next Sunday. But the other news I wanted to share for mainly for overseas viewers is that the supervisor of elections in Fiji has notified or declared that voter registrations has closed. Now, I understand, Sashi, you've got a voter ID card.
Well, Nikhil, let me tell you something. This is from the Fiji Elections Office, and it's from the Fijian Elections Office. This was posted on the 16th of September 2022, and shockingly, I received this just on the 19th of October, and that's 4 days ago. It's taken more than a month for it to arrive, and yes, I've got my voter ID card, Nikhil. But the worry is, if it's taken more than a month to arrive, I just hope that when they do send out the postal ballots, that we do get an opportunity to make our votes count, and that it doesn't arrive 1 month after the election results are known. Time will tell, Nikhil. Look, thank you so much. And I'm sure, in regards to Felix Anthony, particularly with the Labour government now in place federally in Australia, that there will certainly be a lot of online support. And, the union movement here is very, very strong and will support Felix, no doubt.
Yes, Sashi, and before I sign off, please allow me to wish you, the SSTP team, your families, our viewers and their families, a very happy Diwali, and I wish you all well. Thank you.
Well done, Nikhil. Thank you very much. And my Diwali wishes will come later for you. Cheers now. Have a wonderful day. And to our viewers who have tuned in, large numbers, without knowing who our chief guest is, to you, I say thank you very, very much for your trust and faith in SSTP. Give me a second or two and we'll meet our chief guest. You are watching Sashi Singh's Talking Point on Facebook Live. We ask the questions that Fijians all over the world want answers to. Fijians want to know, as I say. Please like and follow the SSTP page if you have not done so. As always, I have an important announcement to share with our viewers. Sashi Singh's Talking Point, SSTP, recognizes that questioning, constructive arguments, and opinions are part of conversation, but posts with aggressive personal attacks, profanity, name-calling, swearing, defamatory in nature, and/or threatening will be removed immediately, and offenders will be blocked from being a part of the SSTP program. Let's observe those rules and enjoy the program. Well, before I introduce my chief guest for today, those of you who tuned in last week would have realized that at the end of the program, I announced that my chief guest this week was going to be Mr. Anare Chale, who is a Fijian politician and member of the Parliament of Fiji. He is the vice president of the Social Democratic Liberal Party, SODELPA. Shortly after the conclusion of the SSTP program last Sunday, when I announced that he was going to be my chief guest today, I received the following email from Mr. Chale, and I quote, "Bulavinakatali, Sashi, I have given further consideration to your invitation and now concluded that it would be risk to my political career if I participate in your program. The writ of elections will be issued soon, and the risk of breaching numerous election laws and policies that will inhibit my candidacy for the coming general elections in Fiji is real. Based on this, I regret to advise that I am not in a position now to take part in your program. Malo. Let me say, I can totally understand the concerns expressed by Honoré Chale, and I respect his decision not to participate in today's program. This is the culture of fear that several aspiring and seasoned politicians have, and they live with it daily in Fiji. To Honoré Chale, we wish you well with your political aspirations. Well, having said that, later in the week, I was contacted and advised that ready to fill the void. Just before we meet our chief guest, let me tell you that after our interview with our chief guest today, I hope you can stay tuned because I'm going to share with you and I'll tell you about Let Love Shine, a doctrine for a new Fiji. This is something not to be missed. I urge you to stay watching right till the very end. Now it is time to meet our chief guest on Sashi Singh's Talking Point. After a long, long time, I can now reveal that my chief guest today is Mr. Sajal Narayan, a provisional candidate for the People's Alliance Party. No sooner was Mr. Sajal Narayan's name announced as a provisional candidate when his provisional candidature was plagued by accusations of his past misdemeanors. He has also been a person of considerable interest as the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption, FICAC, has interviewed Sajal Narayan on 5 different occasions, and he even had a search conducted of his premises under warrant. There is a lot to discuss with our chief guest, Sajal Narayan. And with that introduction, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Sajal Narayan. Sajal, good morning from Sydney and a very good afternoon to you in Fiji. Welcome to Sashi Singh's Talking Point.
Good afternoon, Mr. Singh. Thank you for having me. And then again, thank you to the viewers. Thank you for having me here today.
You are more than welcome. And look, thank you very much for putting your name forward to come onto SSTP. A lot's been written about you, so we'll try to dissect things as we go along. We've got all the time in the world. And like I said, welcome to SSTP. Let me begin by asking you, what is the Sajal Narayan story? Firstly, where in Fiji do you hail from?
Okay. So I'll start with my dad's side, my father's side. My father's background is from Nasurangambua, and my mother is from Wangili, Lambasa. I was born in December of 24th of 1986 in Lambasa Hospital, and I have actually never lived in Lambasa, but because my parents after marriage they settled in Nandi, Malolo Nandi, working there in Nandi, and so I was actually raised in Nandi, Malolo Nandi, there. Um, my father, he was in the ANZ Bank for a very long time, since the 80s all the way till 2000 when we migrated. And then my mom, she was with the Prouds group, Motibai group. She was with them for a very long time as well. And myself, as far as my schooling goes, primary schooling was in Malolo Nandi. It's at A.D. Patel Primary School, all the way until class 6, which was in 1997. Then in 1997, my father was transferred to Suva at the main ANZ branch here. So my family moved to Suva, and then from class 7 and 8, I attended Tamavua Primary School. It's on Khalsa Road right here in Suva. So actually I was in class 8 when I migrated to United States. I was 12 years old.
All right, hold on there. Let me dissect this slowly.
Sure.
So we now know that Fiji-born, Mum and dad, mum worked for Prouds, dad was a banker with the ANZ Bank. What about siblings, brothers and sisters in the family?
Yes, I have a younger sister. She's actually a dentist in South Carolina, USA.
Okay. Now, looking at your family background, there was a Fiji Sun news story dated the 25th of February 2019
Mhm.
about how your family went from rag to riches in the United States. Let me quote a passage from the story, and I quote: "The family went to USA with $10,000. Now they have motels, gas stations, and a trucking company. Mr. Narayan built his own automobile dealership." Now, Sajal, that is a remarkable achievement in any man's language. When and how did your family migrate to the USA?
Okay. So just my parents, they both come from a farming background in Vanuatu. Uh, just normal, simple farmers, and they uh, they actually went to school in Great Islands to get their jobs and everything in migration process. So in 2000, my mother, she won the diversity visa, the green card lottery. So it gave us an opportunity to migrate to United States, and so four of us came to United States, and we settled in Farmville, Virginia. We really didn't have any family in America. Mostly, anyone goes to United States, they settle in California. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, we didn't have anybody that could do that for us. And my father had a childhood friend there in Farmville, Virginia, and he actually opened his arms and let us come stay with him. So that's where it all began. And so since in 2000, coming to a new place, new country, my family was well, it was first a culture shock. And of course, the qualifications that my father had in Fiji and my mother had in Fiji, it didn't have any relevance to the American standard of work and everything, you know. So they couldn't really
Mhm.
get any jobs in the fields they were qualified in. So they had to really redo their careers again. So my father started doing general maintenance work in hotels, mostly owned by Indians. And my mother started working in a Subway, a sandwich shop.
Mhm.
So that's was the beginning, and I used to help my dad when he would take on the small jobs in hotels, doing renovations in hotel rooms, changing the carpet, bathrooms, painting, whatever needed for those at that time, and I would assist him with that. So it's just two of us. So as doing that, they were able to gradually progress to a little bit better jobs after that. My father was working in the hotel industry in the US. He actually was able to get a job working with Accor Hotels. It's a French
Mhm.
owned franchise, Motel 6. So he was given a job as a general manager. And then my mother started working for the TSA at the airport, the Transport Security Administration, as a scanner at an international airport in Richmond, Virginia. So working there, they were able to save up some money, about $40,000 in 2 years, and that's how it started. The thing is, you know, it's we don't come from a business background, and nobody in our family actually has had business exposure. But being in the United States and just watching and observing other immigrants, especially the from India and Asian immigrants, you would see how they have been successful in America. And that was kind of motivation for my family to, hey, why can't we do this? So we decided, we are referring to my mom, dad, and me, because my sister is very young, you know. So we decided we should try something in business. And with the funds that they had saved up working, uh, we were able to purchase our first motel. And I distinctly remember I used to sit on my computer at home. I was only in ninth, 10th grade at that time, in 2003, 10th grade. Uh, and I would stare at my computer at home and look for businesses for sale, which would
Mhm.
fit in our budget. And
Okay.
it just so happened I found a small motel It was listed for like $160,000 in a part of Virginia we had never heard of.
Mhm.
And we decided to check it out. I told my father, I said, let's look at this. And so we decided to go look at it. And we checked it out, and it seemed okay. It was in a small town in Virginia, Central Virginia, in Brookneal, Virginia.
Mhm.
So we ended up purchasing that. And at that time, now, my parents didn't have credit to do any major financial loans or anything with any banks, because they wouldn't be able to get any loans. So we were lucky enough that this particular motel was offered by the seller at owner financing.
Okay.
So my father was
Mm.
able to use that $40,000, give a certain part of it to to do the down payment, and then use the other certain part of it to do the for the cash flow for operations and everything. And we purchased that. So that's when our business legacy started in 2002. And it was a
Okay.
small motel in Brookneal, Virginia, and that's our first business, and went from there.
Wonderfully told indeed. And what great tenacity on the part of your parents and yourself as a youngster to have that business mind to look for a business. Now, you were quite young when you left Fiji. How old were you?
12. I was 12.
12 years old.
12
So
years old.
once a 12-year-old Sajil Narayan goes to the US, what sort of education did you pursue?
Well, first it was a major culture shock,
Mhm.
going to a new part of the world. And I was when I went to my high school, it was in Farmville, Virginia. I was the first student to come to that school from this part of the world, from Fiji
Mhm.
or from the South Pacific. And it was different, especially the sports, because I had never seen football, American football, and basketball and baseball. I didn't know anything about that, and so it took me a while to catch on. And again, on top of that, again, my family was very uh, simple in Fiji, so we didn't have a computer in our home at that time. The only computer I had ever touched in my life was at my dad's office. So when I would go
Mhm.
in his office, I would get a chance to play some games. I didn't even know how to turn a computer on. So when I went to high school, I was
Mm.
told first day in school we're going to the computer lab. So I said, okay. So I get there and all these kids know what they're doing, and I'm just sitting there looking at the screen like, what the heck do I do with this thing? So it took a while, but then I caught on very well. High school was good. Then we actually moved. So especially in when we had that motel, we had to move obviously to the new town when I was in high school. So in 2004, I graduated high school. It was in Brookneal, Virginia. Then I went to Liberty University. I was pursuing a career as a pre-med student. I wanted to become a
Okay.
doctor. And but at that time, since our family business was just getting on the go here. And my dad was diversifying his portfolios, so we were getting into other things, gas stations. We were getting real estate. We had other motels, so it was a little bit too much pressure on my father. So we had a little chat, and I said, "Okay, listen. So you're the only son. Do you really want to be a doctor and go away from home? You run this business, and this is your empire. You build it. We build it together." So I said, "Okay, sure." So we decided that I will join the family business and work with my dad. And so I changed my major to business. So I went to Liberty University and I finished college in 2008, and that's my education. And then after that, in 2008, I did uh, as a businessman and getting into the field of auto business, car dealership. I did have to further my education to be in the finance, to be able to do finance and insurance, in compliance, laws and regulations. So the state of Virginia requires the dealer operators to be certified every 2 years or every so often as they release any new laws and mandates. So I had to go back to college over time to keep on upgrading my education.
Okay. Now, talking about your car dealership business, it was reported in that same Fiji Sun story that after graduating in 2008, that you wanted to start your own business. And because of your love for cars, you started your own car dealership business with an investment of $200,000 given to you by your father. Now, is this story true?
Yes, indeed it is. It's very true. And I'll tell you that story too. Okay, so the car dealership business, it was never really was supposed to have been a business. It was just a hobby. I like cars, and as a young man, I used to always change my cars every year, every 2 years. I like to change it to something different. But this one day, I was going with my father. We were going for his to Charlottesville, Virginia. It's about an hour from our town where we lived in Amherst, Virginia. Um, we were actually going to attend a function, and somehow my father had miscommunicated the date. I mean the time of that event. So the event was actually starting a little bit later than we had actually arrived there. So we were on the main highway, and there was a sign for an auto auction, public auto auction. We had no idea what it was. I said, hey, let's go check this out. So we went there. And this was in February. So in United States, February is the tax season. People file their returns and they get returns back and everything, right? So the general public has good, decent amount of money. So at this public auction, it's the first time I've been to an auction and saw all these cars running for sale. And I ended up buying like 5 of them and had no knowledge about cars. I didn't know anything mechanically or brand wise or anything about them. I had no idea. So I just bought them. And when I bought those cars, next day I brought them back, and I was able to sell them within the first day. All of them sold the first day. Whatever prices I put on them, I sold them the first day. So I was like, hey, this is really good. And that's where it started. So then I had to do it the legal way and apply for a license and do the zoning and compliance and everything. I actually had my first dealership built out of a shed at our family's business store that my father owned. And there was an old shed. It was not used for anything, and the Virginia state had a requirement for the size of an office for the dealership had to be. And so I just got a few guys and we built the office ourselves. I got the zoning done. The county approved the zoning, the state approved the license, and there it was. And that's when I borrowed the money from my father to buy these cars, and the kickoff for Best Bet Motor Sales started.
All right. Now, as you mentioned a little while ago, that there came a time when Dad started expanding the family business. Now, how did you expand the family business? Because from all accounts that I've read, the Narayan family did very, very well. So what was the expansion? Started from that small motel, West Virginia, I think it was.
Virginia.
How did you guys expand?
So that from that small motel, there was a small gas station, convenience store, service station, right across the road from it. So we used to go there and get our fuel. And sometimes my father would play the lottery scratch off there once in a while. It's just to something to do, and go get our beer and stuff. He'd get his beer, whatever. I'll go walk to the store with him. So we used to talk to the cashiers, and we found out from the cashiers that the owners, it was owned by a major corporation. They were looking into selling that store. And so my father said, okay, give me the information. So they gave the information to us, the owners, and we contacted them and were able to lease that store. Now my father did have to go to a bank now to get a loan. So by that time he had a decent enough credit to go to a bank. So we got the loan. And at that time we were operating 2 businesses then. So we had a small motel and a small convenience store. And in the US convenience store, you have a good cash flow. So that helped us build our cash backing, and we were able to buy another small motel, another like about an hour from where we were. So we were running 3 businesses at that time. And then while running those 3, we were able to purchase another bigger convenience store. So we had 4 at that time, and then we sold a few, and then we added another few more stores to the existing ones we had. And then we purchased another motel in Lynchburg, Virginia. And then after the motel, then I expanded the car dealership. The dealership at one point had 5 locations almost.
Okay.
So after that, and then the trucking business came, and this is all in the span of 2002 until 2020. And then the trucking came, and then the real estate came. So it's just been buying and selling, buying and selling.
Okay, wonderfully done, and congratulations to you and your family. Let me tell our viewers that I'm just sort of setting the background to know a lot more about provisional candidate Sajal Narayan. Shortly, I'll also be talking to Sajal regarding his candidature, regarding some allegations made about him that concerned not only him but his family, and also concerned to the People's Alliance Party, I guess. We'll also discuss the letter of complaint from the Fiji First Party, where Sajal features quite prominently in that letter. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about his political aspirations. So, a lot more to unpack with our chief guest. Sajal, have a little break, have a sip of water. We'll come back to you in just a moment. You are watching Sashi Singh's Talking Point. Today is Mr. Sajal Narayan, businessman and entrepreneur, and a provisional candidate for the People's Alliance Party. Like and share the SSTP page on your own timelines so that as many people as possible can be part of today's interview. Sajal, let me now address your work in donating things to Fiji after natural disasters in the country. Let me try and put a photograph on the screen first. This story in the press dated 17th April 2018 has the headline, Narayan family in the US contribute relief supplies. Now, that photo is a bit small. I don't know whether I can get it enlarged or not. Can we get it enlarged? We should have. All right. Well, that headline stands there. Now, in that photograph is your good self, your father, Satya. It's too small to see, but let me tell our viewers, former ambassador to the US, Solomara. Can you tell us what was this initiative for?
Okay, this was in 2018. What had happened? I think Fiji was there was a flood or something. It was a flood relief. That's what I set it up for. We decided to do this. Actually, my is growing up in Virginia, in the central Virginia region. You know, I've always been inspired to help because of the fact that that there has been times when I actually helped in the United States, you know, with through churches, through major organizations like Red Cross, the Salvation Army, the American Cancer Society, my local county, the social services, the Boys and Girls Club, the Rotary Club. I mean, being a businessman in a community, we were always there for help because we are serving the community. Now, doing the relief for Fiji, it actually was not on my table until 2016. In 2015, I did assist a few families in Fiji because reading the news articles and somebody would ask for a water tank or something, and I would ask my dad, "Hey, can we help these people?" And they say, "Okay, I send the money, man." So we sent the money and helped them out. But the biggest step that I took to do any type of assistance for Fiji was in 2016 during the Winston, because the part of United States I come from, you know, we don't hear news about the South Pacific or Fiji. And it just so happened one morning when I came to work, my TV was on the CNN, the news channel, and I actually saw a footage from looked like aerial footage of an island. And when it zoomed in, and I could see the people, it looked like Fiji to me, you know. So I turned the volume up. So what is this? And I could see it's a government-made footage, and it shows that there has been a major hurricane that hit Fiji, and there's been some loss of lives and major losses to personal property and so forth. I immediately called my father and I said, we need to help these people. You know, get with the community. We figure something out to help these people. And right away, I assisted the uh, Fijian people in DC actually. Some of the friends we had there who were ex government officials who are retired, or and then the Peace Corps, and we were able to organize a dinner in Washington DC at a very prominent hotel, and use that dinner to raise funds. So those funds were sent to Fiji for assistance, and after that, I even helped in with other organizations to assist with the 2016 Winston. But this 2018 assistance was given because of a flooding. Because after 2016, I was following the news of what's happening, and if there was a need, I could do it because I had resources and logistics and connections, business associates that I could get and get the organizing done for such relief efforts, right? So that's why I did that
All
with my
right.
father.
Now, the picture that is still up on the screen,
Hmm.
the Ryan family in the US contribute relief supplies. How were you able to coordinate this effort? And importantly, where did the money to acquire the goods come from?
That the coordination, the organizing, the loading, and the funding was all done by me.
So this was a personal contribution.
Yes, personal contribution.
Wow. And if I may ask, why was Fiji's ambassador to the US, Solomara, there in the photograph with you? Was it a formal presentation to the ambassador?
Yes, uh, we invited the embassy, and Ambassador Mr. Mara came, and it was formally handed over to Fiji.
Hmm.
And only thing, like I said, once the handover was done, within the next within a week or so, all this was loaded on a container and shipped out of that is actually my dealership. It's inside my building, and we had
Okay.
it shipped. My employees packed those that container, and we shipped it out of my office.
All right. Let me put another photograph on the screen. This photograph accompanies a story by my good friend Anish Chand from the Fiji Times. This story is dated the 19th of May, 2020. I
Hmm.
apologize for the size of that footage on the screen, but it reads Former residents give medical aid. The story credits you and your father of giving $776,000 worth of medical supplies to Fiji. There to receive the presentation was acting First Secretary of the Fiji Embassy in the USA, Jaljit Kumar. Firstly, how did you and your father coordinate such a huge consignment of medical supplies?
I personally organized this myself. I contacted the relevant sources to get these items, and these are all items uh, that I assumed is a need in Fiji. If you don't mind, I can share a small story with you why
Please,
this was even done.
please go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
okay, all right. So if you can see the date on that is May of 2020.
Yes,
Uh,
19th May
yes.
2020.
Okay. So as I told you, I left Fiji in 2000 at the age of 12, and I didn't return to Fiji until 2005. And since 2005, and when I returned to Fiji in 2005, I was just a high school graduate, and that was it. I didn't have any other reason to any other like I wasn't a businessman or anything. I mean, obviously I was with my father, but I uh, I just visited. So I was only visiting my family and friends and relatives, and uh, I had no idea about what's what's in Fiji, what the government status is, what the economy is. I had no idea about any of these things. So just visiting, and then I came back to United States 2005. So when I came back in 2005, life moved on. I started my college, and then life moved on. Businesses grew, and I kept working and didn't have anything going on. Well, in 2019, I returned to Fiji after 14 years. So when I returned to Fiji after 14 years in 2019, again, I was able to, I visited my family, friends, retraced my roots, went back to my homes where we lived there, the schools I attended, and that was my reason for returning. But after 2019, I used to come to Fiji on a pretty frequent basis. I used to travel to Fiji frequently because I was dating somebody in Fiji and I was gonna marry her. And in 2000 and around the end of 2019, when I was in Fiji, um, I was visiting a friend, and at his home, uh, I was visiting him at his home, and his child got hurt or something. They were playing, and the kid got hurt, right? So we had to take him to hospital. So we took him to Balelevu Hospital here in Nasinu. And at the hospital, he required stitches or something. So he took his kid inside. I'm sitting outside in the waiting area and just observing. This is the first time being in a hospital in Fiji. I had no idea what it looked like. So I'm sitting there and I'm witnessing people being carried in like no proper equipment. I mean, I would expect somebody to have a wheelchair at the door to put somebody sickly or hurt or whatever to bring them inside, but actually they were carried in the arms and brought inside. And I would see people walking around with crutches made out of wood, homemade crutches, and that really, touched me. And it gave me a very different perspective of Fiji right there, and that image stuck in my head. So after my vacation time here in Fiji, I went back home to the US, and I challenged myself that I will do this. So I decided to organize this medical relief container to include such items, which will be beneficial. I know I cannot help everyone, but I know I could have helped few of my fellow Fijians with the donation that I had done.
All right. But how did you and your father coordinate such a huge consignment of medical supplies?
I had my sources. I had sources because my as a car dealer, I was not just a car dealer in America. I was the state vice president for the Virginia Independent Automobile Car Dealers Association, and I was also the district president for the VIADA. And VIADA is an organization. It's actually centered towards used car dealers and what we do in the communities and how we comply with the laws, changes to the laws. And we are the voice of the dealers. That's what it was. So with this organization, working with them, we used to take on projects which would help communities during Christmas, during any natural disasters, or even just a fire or something. So we would do that. So as being the president of my district, I had made a lot of contacts, and I still do. I have a lot of contacts in the United States who are willing to assist. So that's how I was able to coordinate this and work with these organizations to arrange this shipment for Fiji, but it's personal funds.
Again, personal funds.
Hmm.
All right. Now, was this donation made at the onset of COVID-19? And talking about $776 odd thousand of medical supplies, what formed the consignment?
Well, the consignment had, like, you mean the contents of it?
Yes.
It was made up of hospital beds, probably. You want numbers, or I mean, just a
No,
brief?
no, no. Just
Okay, all right.
hospital beds, walking sticks, whatever.
Yeah,
What
hospital
was it?
crutches, wheelchairs, reading glasses. It had masks, about 100,000 pieces of masks, 100,000 pieces of masks. Uh, it had also had some the rolls of nets you can use for for mosquito net, right? You can use it for that, just to provide the relief from, like, getting dengue or something. But it had a good number of equipment, crutches, walkers,
Sure.
the bathroom disability equipment.
Sajal, now, who handled the shipping of such a large quantity of medical supplies? Did it come from your own funds or did the Fiji government contribute in any way?
It all was paid by me. There was no contribution from anybody.
Now, you said you and your family, or Sajal Narayan, you've sent 2 containers at 2 different times, and of
Mm,
course, what you did in 2016 as well. Now,
mhm.
in all of these stories that we've shared on SSTP this afternoon, did you get any official recognition from the Fiji First government of your donations, of your support to the government of Fiji?
No, I never received any recognition.
Okay, and did the Fiji First government gladly accept the 2 shipments of donations? Did you know that? Did
Yeah, they
Ambassador
did.
Solomara said anything?
Yeah, Mr. Mara acknowledged it, but I mean directly from the government, nothing. I didn't get anything, but yeah, they accepted it.
All right, and do you know where or how things were distributed? For example, you sent hospital beds. Do you know which medical centers or which hospitals were actually given those beds?
I'm waiting for that right now. I haven't received that as of today. I'm waiting for that. Maybe they
you
haven't
mean
got to it yet.
you mean to say you have
No,
no knowledge of where things were
no knowledge. No,
distributed?
no.
Um, I must remind you of a story you told me when we spoke on the phone the other day.
Uh-huh.
Can you please share that story of that Republican T-shirt briefly, if
Oh,
you
okay.
can?
Yeah, sure, sure. So what happened was, uh, in uh, in 2019, I was actually at I was actually getting a photo printed of uh, I needed a photo for something. I can't remember. I think it was renewing my passport or something. So I had to get a photo, passport photo done, right, in a small studio here in Suga. And as I was waiting, I saw an individual walk in there with the T-shirt on, and I was like, that T-shirt looks very familiar. And what had happened was my relief that I gave in 2018 or 2016. I'm not too familiar, but it had the shirts. It had about 10,000 shirts in that container, and these shirts all were from the Republican Party actually, because in 2014 election, when President Obama won the election, the losing side never opened their T-shirts, because in America, it's in the election day, the day of the announcement, they give out all these thousands of T-shirts to the supporters. And the losing side, the T-shirts were never opened. The containers sat in those parking lots, and then they went back to the warehouses where they were shipped out of. So I bought those T-shirts to give it as a relief effort. And I asked this individual, I said, "I like your shirt."
Hmm.
And his comment was, "Oh wow, thank you." And I said, "You like America?" And he said, "Yeah, I like America." I said, "Oh, good, man." I said, "Where did you get that shirt?" Uh, I said, he told me, he said, "Oh, I bought this." I said, "Oh," I was shocked. I said, "You bought this? Where did you buy this?" And he said, "I bought it in a thrift shop." I said, "Okay,
Wow.
how much you pay for it?" So I paid $2 for it. So I left it there. So imagine about 10, 12,000, whatever number of shirts was in that container. And if it didn't get to the people and somebody ended up selling these at $2 a piece, I think there was a good profit made from that.
Well, this just is shocking because what you did was donated things for the people of Fiji. And here was an
Yes.
example of just one T-shirt being sold. And the question then remains as to who authorized it, who pocketed the money, where does the buck stop? And this is something that perhaps a corruption body ought to be investigating as well. Let's move on. Now, why did you and say your father, as the head of the family, go to such great lengths to provide well over $1 million of assistance to Fiji? What was your motive? Was there a motive behind it?
No, there is no motive. But let me tell you something. I'm gonna add something to the last question.
Hmm.
The the the, shipments was directly sent to the Prime Minister's Relief fund relief effort. They have a special title for that.
Mhm.
Now, I trusted that organization that handled this Prime Minister relief effort to wisely distribute this to the people that were in need. That's where this was actually shipped to through the Fijian embassy. Now, to go back to the question you just asked me, no, there was no. I mean, there was no intention. There was no motive. It was just helping Fiji because this is our home. We love Fiji, and
Mhm.
we are a product of Fiji. We came out of Fiji, and we will never forget Fiji because now we are successful in life, and we're able to help our home. Why not help our people? Why not? Because again, my family comes from a humble beginning, just farmers, and so we understand the my parents and of course me. I mean, we understand hardship. We understand that it's not easy, and now we are able to help. We didn't think of it as anything asking for anything back for it. I mean, just helping our country.
Well, hats off to you and your family. What a wonderful and generous hearted people you are, donating to the people of Fiji. Let me ask you, wouldn't you like to know who was responsible for distributing just those t shirts where it was being sold? Wouldn't you like to know that?
I like I said, I have done a lot of assistance and donations in the United States as well, working with organizations. Okay, I never bothered to ask them where was this given because I understand that when you are assisting with something and these organizations you trust them, they will make the right choices and do the right thing. So I never bothered for that. But I when I had the T-shirt incident, then I wanted to know, but I didn't have any way of any contact with anybody to get that. But I was never given any type of breakdown, and it's very sad. It hurts, you know. It's sad that my hard effort and my willingness to help Fiji has it might have went to all waste, and I just made somebody rich with those donations. I don't know.
Sajal, it is indeed very, very sad, particularly when you send 2 or 3 containers addressed to the government of Fiji, no less than to
Mm,
the Prime Minister's Relief Fund, for example. Number
mm,
one, you don't even get a simple letter of acknowledgement or thanks. That's
mhm,
gratitude for you. Number two, you don't even know, or it's not even declared as to how what you gave, where it was sent to, how it was used. And then, shockingly, that example of a person buying the Republican t shirt sent by
mhm.
you for a cost of $2 at a thrift shop. Somebody
Yeah.
somewhere has made money, and that is corruption at its best. Let's move on. Um, there you were in 2020 donating more than $776,000 worth of stuff to Fiji. Successful businessman you were, assisting your former countrymen. A question that viewers must be asking themselves is, why Fiji? Noting that by all media reports, you had such a lucrative business and life in Virginia. What was it that attracted you to return to Fiji?
Okay. I still I mean I still have my father's full support, and he's still a businessman in the US, and we have our properties and real estate, whatever, all that's still there. Now I came to Fiji in 2020, in October of 2020, uh, because I had I got married in 2019 August, and due to the COVID restrictions with travel, and there was a hold on immigration. I was not able to see my wife for a long time. So while her papers was once it started getting processed, I came to Fiji in October, and I was going to spend some time here in Fiji and stay with her and take her back with me. That was the whole motive. It was not to stay here. And there has been some events that caused me to stay, and I decided to stay back and do the right thing now. Then I can share the story with you too if you want.
Uh, about That story about your wife, is it?
No, it's about the reason why I decided to get into the political arena.
No, I'm coming to that. I'm going to ask
Okay.
the questions in just a moment. Look, take a little break. You need a drink of water or something, please go ahead. You are watching Sashi Singh's Talking Point, and our chief guest today is Mr. Sajal Narayan, provisional candidate for the People's Alliance Party, a businessman and an entrepreneur. And I hope you're enjoying the program. Shortly, we will be talking to him about some slightly unpleasant attention that he's had allegations leveled at him. We'll address those allegations. We'll talk about the complaint against him by the by the Fiji First Party, lodged with the Supervisor of Elections, and that's been referred to FICAC. And we'll talk also about the reasons why he's decided to put his name forward for the general elections. Some of you are sending us likes. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments. And for those particular people, Penena Mbuna Lakoi, thank you very much for the stars you are sending. So if you are sending stars, SSTP says thank you very, very much. Keep those comments coming, and a lot more to dissect with my chief guest, Sajal Narayan. Now, Sajal, when you did return to Fiji, did you have any sort of relationship or business dealings or a political affiliation with the Fiji First Party?
No, I haven't. I haven't had any dealings with them since my return.
Okay. And then when did you decide to join the People's Alliance Party?
The People's Alliance Party is. I actually contacted the People's Alliance office in July of 2021 to meet with Mr. Rambuka. And previous to that, I had an incident that led me to do this, and I can share with you if you allow me.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, as you had noted that in 2020, that container had that medical relief surprise worth about $776,000. It came to Fiji around end of 2020 because of the shipping restrictions, and it took a little longer to get here. So it came, I think, somewhere around end of the year, cleared the ports. And if you recall, in 2021, Fiji was going through a lockdown phase here, and then there was curfews, and had the mask mandate by the Ministry of Health. So in particular, April of 2021, there was a mandate on masks. So we were all required to wear masks, buy masks,
Yes.
and wear masks. And I never really watched the news, and I was watching it live that day for some reason, and I saw that that the mask mandate was in place, and we all had to do that. So I was very happy. I said, "Oh, great!" So that 90,000 masks that I sent to Fiji would be finally used for a good purpose, for a purpose where I'm actually helping the people here to get over this COVID situation. And when I questioned some people, the people I dealt with in the Prime Minister's relief fund effort, I was not given any clear answers on that. And matter of fact, I was questioned on who am I and why are you questioning, and so forth. So I had realized that okay, but this doesn't sound right, and seems like the masks might have fallen in the wrong hands as well. So at that time, the masks were selling $1, $2 a piece. So somebody probably kept off on that 90,000 masks and took full advantage of this. And I don't believe that anybody ever received a free mask from that container that I had sent in. So with that frustration, I didn't know what to do, and I was following the news again, and I saw Mr. Rambuka, and he was talking about forming his new party. And so I decided to contact him and talk to him. What is his stand? What does he think about what is he going to stand for as a new government? And we set a meeting up. We set a meeting, and the meeting went great. And I decided to join him in his movement, to be part of his party.
All right. How were you selected then as a provisional candidate for the People's Alliance? Did you have to go
I
through a
went,
selection committee? Did
yes,
you have to go on? Tell us.
I went through the normal process. I had to apply for it. I had to provide all my credentials, financials, and so forth. And there was a panel, and then the panel called me after they had for the interview.
All right. Now, no sooner. I mean, I watched that live. The first batch of provisional candidates that were
Mm.
announced by the People's Alliance. I watched that live as it was announced, and I saw you being introduced to the people who were present there. And I was intrigued. Here was a young man, Sajal Narayan, that I'd never heard of before, and I was interested. But no sooner were you announced as a provisional candidate for the People's Alliance, immediately, more or less, there were media reports that perhaps the party did not vet your application properly as you had a criminal past. With your
Mhm.
permission, I emphasize, with your permission, I would like to address some of these allegations to clear the air once and for all. Would you like to clear the air, and do I have your okay to proceed?
With all means, Mr. Singh, all means.
Thank you, Sajal. All right, let's begin by addressing some allegations. Now, it has been alleged that in 2012, that's 10 years ago,
Mhm.
that at that time that you ran a car dealership and you were accused of not maintaining proper odometer records. There was an odometer disclosure penalty and failure to release vehicle title to a buyer of a vehicle from your dealership. I must add that this sort of offense is classed as a class 1 misdemeanor, and the authorized punishments for conviction of a misdemeanor in the state of Virginia: A, for class 1 misdemeanors, confinement in jail for not more than 12 months, and a fine of not more than $2,500, either or both. Now, what do you have to say to this allegation?
In 2012, so if you recall, my dealership business was only 2 years old. So I was starting off in a new industry with zero background in the auto industry or with anything with the laws and regulations of that. Just as a young businessman, starting off with that. Um, and I was, I think, 25 years old 10 years ago. Yeah, 25 years old. And as a it's not just being a businessman, but when you're a car dealer, you are subjected to the state of Virginia's dealer compliance laws. So I had to uh, be certified to be a dealer operator. That's the word for that. So the dealer operator is the person in charge of all the daily operations of the dealership. And I could have 20 salespeople working for me and filling papers left and right, selling cars. But the end of the day, if they miss one signature somewhere, it falls back on me.
Mhm.
So this is what happened in particular with this case. It was a simple clerical error on a title that was processed, and it came back to us through the Department of Motor Vehicles. And the Department of Motor Vehicles had sent in an agent to investigate, and they found the odometer was not written properly on that form. Even though I had not personally done that transaction, just because I was the dealer operator, it was my responsibility to make sure that all the papers were in check, and it was not. So that one form caused me to get this conviction. But at the end of the day, I went to court and it was discharged, and I walked out free because, like I said, it was a simple clerical error.
All right, point taken. Let's move on to the next one. It has also been alleged that in 2016, a bench warrant was issued on a contempt charge. Can you tell us what was the circumstances of this charge and how was the matter disposed of?
The, okay, that one. So in Amherst, we have multiple real estate properties, and one of those is our farmhouse, and it is located in a small neighborhood community, and we have somebody lives across the road from us. Uh, and what had happened was my German Shepherd, my dog, had escaped from his from the fence boundaries, and he had attacked the guy across the road, his dog, and injured it. And there was a case on that, so we had to settle in court. And over that case, we paid the penalties or whatever, and paid for the injuries, damages to this individual, and it was all settled. But after the case was settled, this particular individual was not satisfied, and he started harassing and calling out to my employees who would go in on this premises. One night, while he was doing this, I approached him, and I approached him from the state highway. I was nowhere close to his premises, but he lied on his statement and had me charged for trespassing, that I came on his premises and alleged threatening for a threat. But once I went to court, it was discharged, and I ended up suing this guy. And I have at the moment I have I actually won the case. I can't remember the term for this, but I have a judgment against him. Sorry, I have a judgment against this individual for like $35,000 for this harassment case, and he hasn't paid me yet, but it's done. But I didn't have any conviction or anything of that.
All right, well explained. I think you jumped the gun. You told us about the trespassing charge. My question now is, what about that contempt charge in 2016 where a bench warrant was issued? Remember that?
That is it. Yeah, that's the one.
But that was a contempt of court charge.
Oh, sorry.
Content of court. What you've just
Okay.
described as a trespassing charge.
Okay, the content of court. Hold on.
Maybe you didn't turn up to court one day.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Okay, the content of court was 2016. It was there was a another case on something else relating to my dealership, and I had to be in court, but there was a conflict of date. So I had requested my lawyer to change the date so I could attend the event, and I'll go to for this case in the later future. His secretary did not process the change of date, and the date was, the case was called in court, and I wasn't there. So when the actual date, when I went back to court, then the judge asked me, why didn't you come the first time? So she was very imminent about it, and I gave me a contempt of court. Again, I was not charged or anything, but then it was discharged.
Okay, once you were declared a provisional candidate, one of the more serious aspersions cast on you was in relation to an allegation that in 2019 you were pulled over for suspected drinking. The prosecution apparently dropped the refusal to take a breathalyzer test and reckless driving charges. However, the Amherst and Campbell District Court in Virginia found you guilty of driving while drunk and failing to report an accident. The court also placed you apparently on a restricted driver's license. Is this true, Sajal?
It is true, yes.
And the circumstances of that, you want to clear the air or whatever?
Yeah, I will. Okay. So on this particular night, I had to attend a meeting, and I came home from the meeting. I drove home. So I was never pulled over. I was never given. I was never pulled over on the side of a road or anything. I was at home, and what had happened was, on the way home, I hit my neighbor's mailbox turning in my driveway, and I was drinking. So I hit his mailbox, and when I turned in the driveway, I hit his mailbox and knocked the mailbox over. I guess there was a noise, but then I parked my car in my driveway. And I went inside my house, and I was in the bed. The police came like almost an hour later looking for me, because the neighbor had called about disturbance outside, and they saw the mailbox down, and they saw a black BMW with a wrecked front end with a
Mm.
busted out headlight and windshield. They immediately came and rang my doorbell. So they came to my house, and I went outside, and part of that was they wanted to give me a breathalyzer test. And I told them no, because I'm at home. Why would I do a breathalyzer test now? I came home, I had a few drinks again. So
Yes.
I'm definitely drunk now. So that's why. And then they gave me a tick. They booked me for drinking and driving because I hit the mailbox coming in my own driveway.
Well,
So
let
that
me
was it.
tell you, if I was home and they knocked on my door, I would most certainly refuse to take part in a breathalyzer test. And I'm a lawyer, and I think that's good. Now, what were the penalties for this driving offense, hitting the
Okay.
mailbox offense?
Yeah, I had to replace the mailbox, and it was replaced right the next day. My maintenance man came and fixed the mailbox. My neighbor was happy, and the neighbor even apologized to me. He said, "If I would have known you did it, I would have never called the police." I said, "Oh, it's okay." So I had to pay for his mailbox replacement, and then I paid a fine. I believe it was like $2,500. I paid the fine, and I had a restricted driver's license. I had to attend classes. And matter of fact, I have my driver's license right here in front of you. I can show it to you. It was issued. The issue date on this driver's license is October 21st, 2019, and I was and the incident was in April. So I was able to get my renewal of my driver's license, and this is valid for another. This is valid until December of 2027. So I have a valid driver's license from the state of Virginia.
All right. Now, Sajal, by no means are any of these alleged offenses a capital offense.
Mhm.
They were all classified as misdemeanors in some instances. I mean, what do you have to say about these offenses? And did it sadden you that this was brought up after your name as a provisional candidate was announced?
First of all, I mean, I admit I made mistakes. I mean, nobody's perfect. There's nobody perfect in this world. So we all go through that phase. Unfortunately, mine has just been highlighted more to for defamation purposes. It's sad because it kind of overshadows my good deeds and a few bad deeds I have done. It's putting a bad picture on me. But I mean, I'm young. I mean, I'm sure people as they grow up, they get over it. And I don't drink and drive or anything anymore. I don't do that. I haven't done that. So, but yeah, I mean, I did. Yeah, I mean, I'm a changed person. I'm not the same.
Well, like I said, they were certainly not capital offenses. I mean, I have examples in Fiji where people have committed capital offenses and today are sitting in very, very high and lofty positions. Let's leave that there. Well, I'm glad that you've cleared the air about any allegations in relation to your past dealings with the law and order situation in the USA. I also believe that your candidature is something between you and your party. Let me ask
Mhm.
you, is everything sweet between you and the People's Alliance?
You know, I first time in my life I am directly affiliated with a political movement, and I couldn't be prouder. With the People's Alliance team, our leader, Mr. Respectable Mr. Rambuka, our deputy party leaders, our party executives, our party founders, our party members. I mean, the office personnel. It's just great. It's just great, and I really like those guys, and they all work very hard to keep this party floating.
All right, wonderfully said. And in terms of those allegations that tried to malign your character, your good name, are you happy today that you've got that off your chest? You've laid it clear in this program. Are you happy that you've got it off your chest?
I am very happy. Thank you for that. Like I said, I'm very happy for the opportunity to tell this, on my from my side, because uh, the the way the law is portrayed in Fiji and the way it's portrayed in the United States is different. So I guess the drinking and driving offense in Fiji here does not carry as much penalty as it does in Virginia.
Hmm. Okay.
Um,
All right. Sajal, take a break. You deserve one. I certainly hope that your colleagues in the People's Alliance are sharing this broadcast on the official page. Billy Singh, Pavan, I hope Vijay, Ajay Amrit, I hope you gentlemen are sharing this on the People's Alliance page. You are watching Sashi Singh's Talking Point, and our chief guest today is Mr. Sajal Narain, businessman, entrepreneur, and a provisional candidate for the People's Alliance in the forthcoming elections. Please like and follow the SSTP page so that as many people can view today's episode. And let me tell those people, if you have recently started following SSTP, let me tell you that you can watch all the previous programs from episode 1 to episode 40 of last week by going to the SSTP page on Facebook or on YouTube. You can watch at your own leisure and pleasure and catch up on all the past programs. Thank you to all those people sending their likes, their hearts, and also sending stars via today's program. And if you're sending stars, a special thank you to you. SSTP, you're watching the Thinking People's program. And Billy Singh that has just sent us a Vinaka Sashi. Billy, give me a thumbs up if you guys are sharing this on the People's Alliance page. Thanks, and nice to have your company, Billy. Always a pleasure. Sajal, let's continue. This is the serious part now. Let me now discuss the Fiji First Party's complaint to the Supervisor of Elections. I have here the complaint letter. This was sent to me by a close contact in Fiji, and it's a 19-page letter of complaint to the Supervisor of Elections. It's dated the 20th of September 2020. The General Secretary of the party made several references to you. Now, before I address the specific allegations against you, let me just read the first couple of paragraphs out for the benefit of the people. The letter reads, Dear Supervisor, remember it's addressed to the Supervisor of Elections, Fijian's Elections Office, 59 to 63 High Street, Turek, Suva. The first couple of paragraphs reads, Dear Supervisor, General Elections, Conduct of Political Parties and the Media. 1. We write to you in respect of the conduct of political parties, adherence to campaign rules, funding of campaigns, electoral offences, and the role of the media during the general elections. 2. We have consistently maintained that all stakeholders, including political parties, must ensure that electoral laws are adhered to. This will ensure, inter alia, that there is transparency, a level playing field for all, and the electorate is able to make informed choices. It is within this context that we highlight below specific issues which we request the Fijian Elections Office to look into and take appropriate action. Now, the first allegation leveled at you, and I quote from the letter, Sajal, it says, and I quote, in its 6 June 2022 publication, Fiji Sun reported that Sajal Narain had allegedly made certain promises to a youth group in Matata settlement at Valinithina, Lami, during a campaign meeting. The allegations pertain to Narain promising the youth group that he could get them employment and sports-related opportunities in the United States of America in exchange for their votes. Part of Narain's response to Fiji Sun's questions, and which is contained in the article, is reproduced below. I said, and this is quoting you, I said we can explore some other opportunities in America because there is a demand in the workforce there as well. There are other people from other countries working in the US. Then why can't Fijians work there? It doesn't have to be necessary for my family business. Now, Sajal, did you in fact promise the youth group that you could get them employment and sports-related opportunities in the US?
No, I never said such thing like that.
All right. You want to elaborate?
Okay.
Or if you want to elaborate, otherwise I'll move on. Just be very careful that whatever you say does not get you into any further trouble. So I don't want to jeopardize your candidature, but I'll ask you questions. If you feel comfortable, go ahead. If not, simply tell me that you're not comfortable to discuss it because, your neck is on the line, so to say. So you have just denied you did not make a promise to that youth group.
No.
Correct? Okay.
I didn't make any promises.
All right. Now, in that same letter to the Supervisor of Elections at page 2, paragraph 6, the General Secretary of the Fiji First Party writes that Section 1163H, titled Campaign Rules, states as follows: any political party, any candidate for election to Parliament, and any person representing or acting under the direction of any political party or any candidate must not, and this is subparagraph H, coerce or offer monetary or other kinds of direct inducements to persons to vote for or against a particular party or candidate or to abstain from voting. And then it says any person who contravenes subsection 3 or 4 commits an offense and shall be liable upon conviction to a fine not exceeding $50,000 or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 10 years or to both. My question to you, Sajal, did you contravene this part of the electoral law? Did you offer monetary or other kinds of direct inducements to people to vote either for your party or against any other party?
No, I have not done that.
All right. Now, at paragraph 8 of the complaint letter to the Supervisor of Elections, the General Secretary of the Fiji First Party wrote, Narayan was present at this meeting as a TPA candidate. By making such promises, Narayan has offered a direct inducement to voters and has done so in exchange for their votes, whether to Narayan himself or to TPA. A copy of the Fiji Sun article is enclosed with this letter for your reference. And he writes further, we ask the Fijian Election Office to look into this matter and to urgently look into this matter and take appropriate action. Sajal, did you, in terms of the complaint, offer a direct inducement to voters?
No, I didn't do such a thing. There was no direct inducement for voting for me or the party or any other party.
All right. It has been stated in the letter of complaint that this was not an isolated incident. The General Secretary of the Fiji First Party has listed against you, Sajal, not one, but 27 instances of what he terms as vote buying, bribery, and or undue influence under the electoral rules. Let me give you some examples. I'd like you to listen. For example, 18th May 2022, Narayan states, Sakurtha meeting and awareness with party leader. Community members were very happy to meet our party leader. Branch launch and ration donations to community members in need. And another one, same date, 18th May 2022. And this is all taken from your Facebook page, by the way. 27 of these complaints taken from your own Facebook page by the General Secretary of the Fiji First Party, where you have that about on the Facebook page. That's where it's taken from. 18th May 2022, Narayan states, around the city supporting our juice vendors, giving out bottles for their juice sales, and raising awareness for voter registration. Narayan has uploaded photographs of himself standing with recipients of the bottles. Another one, 19th May. Narayan states, branch meeting and awareness for Vudi Road in Nosori. Also, back to school packs was distributed for lower grade primary school students as per request by parents. Photographs of Narayan with recipients of the school packs have been uploaded to this post. 19th May 2022, Narayan states, a proud moment for all youths of the two villages in Kambambau, Tailevu, when rugby training equipment with volleyball net was donated to them after our branch set up in awareness. Photographs of Narayan with recipients of the equipment have been uploaded to this post. One more. 5th June 2022, Narayan states, spending my Sunday morning with the ones that need our help. People's Alliance 2022 Community Service. Photographs of Narayan, TPA provisional candidates Liliana Warid and Cecil Brown, and TPA Deputy Party Leader Daniel Lobendown, with recipients of food packs, have been uploaded to this post. Sajal, let me ask you, what do you say to these complaints first? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Those are all baseless complaints. That's all I'll say.
All right, you broke up
Looking
there. Can
at
you
my my background of the way I've assisted Fiji over the course of 5, 6, 7 years. This is I can hear you.
All right, keep going. We seem to have some internet issues, but you said looking at your record. Please continue from there.
Yeah, you're looking at my record over the last 6, 7 years where I've been providing assistance, and looking at this, what has been or posted on my Facebook page, it compares nothing to that. Now, on top of that, now we end of the day we're all Fijians, right? So if we go in a community and they ask us to assist and to give them a gift or whatsoever, like to ask for assistance, I don't think there's wrong with that. I mean, if you look at the Fiji government's page right now, with the ministers out there giving out assistance all day, all the time lately. I was just looking at the assistance they were giving yesterday. What's the difference with my assistance given, and what's the difference with what they are doing? Mr. Bala was posted on Fiji government's page yesterday, doing the Russian giveaways, providing sports equipments, and providing assistance to youths for development and so forth. I did the same thing. So
All right,
why there's two different laws?
Well, I was just going to ask you, and I will now ask you. You've partially answered that. What is the difference when you and the People's Alliance have aided the community, given ration packs, etc., given youth groups, stop them from entering into criminal activities, giving them some sporting initiative? What is the difference when you do that, and the difference when Fiji First distributes farm machinery, equipment, all of those things as assistance to the people as well? Is there a difference?
So there's basically two laws then. One for us, one for the others.
Well, it's for the people of Fiji to judge what happens now in terms of the complaint, the 19-page complaint, of which there were about 27 complaints directly about you. That complaint was referred to FICAC. And I'd like to now discuss FICAC and you. So you have, according to media reports, been interviewed by FICAC on 5 different occasions. Is it correct? Is it 4 or 5 different occasions?
5 different occasions.
It's absolutely funny. We were interviewing you right from the beginning, and there was no issues with internet, no issues of delays. Everything was flowing so nicely. Soon as I start asking questions about the letter to the supervisor of elections, all of a sudden, your internet speed has just gone down. There seems to be delays in the frequency. Let's persevere on, because this is a story waiting to be told. And so let me say to you, if there's a delay, take your time. You'll get to hear what I've asked. I'll be patient enough, and I'll wait for you to answer. Give me a thumbs up if you can recognize that.
Okay.
Good. All right. So you've, from media reports, and you've just confirmed, you've been interviewed on 5 different occasions by FICAC. What has the FICAC experience been like for you?
Before I answer that, that letter that you're referring to, I've never seen that letter. I was never given a letter. All I know, there was a complaint made at the elections office by Fiji First, And the next thing I know, FICAC's calling me to come to their office for an interview. So I never had the opportunity to go through the due process of the law to even respond to that letter or have a chance. I've never seen the letter. That's why I'm very surprised you have a letter and I don't have one. I never
Well,
saw
let
it.
me tell you, this is a letter that was sent to me by one of my contacts. And if truth be told, with all the years I've spent in Fiji, I have a lot of contacts. And as a lawyer, I have contacts in the legal section. I have my media colleagues. And then you have those gems of people who are ordinary Joe blogs that you've never ever met in life, but who contribute for a cause. So this is a letter, a fair income letter, and it is 19 pages. And I should have put this on the screen. And this has here the signature of the General Secretary as well. So this is a letter, and I'm surprised that you don't have a copy because this deals with you. It is, natural justice demands that you should be given that letter so you can address that. Okay, moving on. I asked you, what was the FICAC experience like? What has it been like?
Well, the FICAC experience, I feel like I'm harassed. My basic human rights is being violated. I'm on their time schedule now. I cannot, I have to be so available for them all the time. If they call me, I have to present myself. I I have nothing to say to the investigators and the employees at FICAC because I know they are just doing their job, and I applaud them for doing their job properly. But unfortunately, they have people on the top that are pulling the strings for them, and they are told to do as they are told to do for the investigation. But the sad thing is, it's a hindrance to my campaign. I am limited to my movements. I'm limited to what I can say anymore. I don't have the freedom, the course of freedom that I had, the standing for the truth, and I don't have that. Now I'm concerned about my safety as well. I don't know when I'll be called in again, or what could happen to me.
That is indeed said. You said it's harassment. Do you go through any other anguish apart from being harassed? What goes through your mind? There must be a sense of uneasiness.
Yeah, uneasiness. I mean, I have that sense of the fear. Like, am I being watched? I mean, am I being followed? What's happening? Like, is my phone being tapped?
Okay. All of a sudden, I think the internet has corrected itself, so that's good. Fingers crossed. Now, as we've said, you've been interviewed on 5 different occasions. Is it the same thing that they have asked you, or is the investigation on some different aspect each time?
Um, since this is still an open investigation, I prefer not to say that. That might not be appropriate for
Okay.
me to say it on the interview right now for what they're
All right.
investigating.
Okay, I respect that. Certainly respect that. Now, I also understand that you have been subject of a FICAC warrant. Under the terms of their warrant, where did they conduct their searches? If you can share that.
Yeah, I mean, my home, my cars, uh, and confiscation of my phone, which I don't have that in my phone still with them, um, and other documents and items as well.
So, searches conducted at your home, your motor vehicles, your phones taken.
Mhm.
As part of the search warrant, did the FICAC team tell you that they were taking these things away, or did they tell you what were they searching for?
Uh, it was a pretty broad search warrant, and I don't even have a copy of it. So I was shown that under it's a surprise for me too, and I asked for a copy. I wasn't given a copy, but it was pretty broad. So I mean, they had access to searching anything and everything they wanted. I had no powers to exclude anything from whatever they wanted to get access to.
But did you ask them, what are you actually looking for?
I did ask them
And what response did you get?
to comply to them.
I seem to have
I
missed that.
didn't have a choice.
Okay. Now, just out of interest, when FICAG goes out with a search warrant, what was the background? Did you know that they were coming, or were you called into a meeting? For instance, how many people came to search your premises? What was the background? Can you share that?
I mean, it was. I get a phone call. Uh, supposed to have been just an informal fact finding meeting, and I was supposed to come in. But after I got there, then I was given a search warrant. And after I was given the search warrant, then I was accompanied back to my home with the agents from the FICAC office. I think about 12 of them brought me in a van, in a minivan, and then I was subjected to give whatever they wanted.
You were taken to your own home in a van accompanied by about 12 FICAC
Yeah.
officers. Were
Yeah.
you by any chance handcuffed?
Yes.
Were you by any
That's the
chance
only thing that
handcuffed?
didn't happen. The handcuff. Everything else was there.
Wow.
No.
So, okay, just for the record, Sajal, have you by any chance been officially charged for any offense?
No, I have not been charged for anything.
So you haven't been charged for any offense. They have interviewed you 5 times on 5 different occasions. They have gone to your home. They've conducted a search. They've conducted a search of your motor vehicles. They've taken your mobile phone. I understand that apart from all of that you have also been placed under a stop departure order. Can you please confirm that?
I have a stop departure order right now, and it's active at the moment. It has been issued by the Immigration Department, FICAC, Mr. Aslam.
Oh, you mean the FICAC main boy? He's issued that. We have that internet issue again.
And it's endorsed.
Sorry, Sajal, we seem to have it seemed to have that internet interference. We'll persevere. So you were saying, if you can hear me, talk to me about that stop departure order. What does it stop you from doing? Obviously, stops you from flying overseas. What else does it restrict you to?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, there seems to be a delay. Let me ask that question again. You've just told us that you've been placed under a stop departure order. You've confirmed that. Obviously, it stops you from flying overseas. What other restrictions are placed on that stop departure order?
It's traveling overseas.
All right, and can you move freely within Fiji?
I've been told to make myself available. So whenever they call me, I have to make myself available and present myself. So be careful. I guess I have to be a little careful of my further away travels. So if I'm required to come back, I have to be available to come in.
All right.
Not
Now,
too
if
fast.
you've Okay, now if you've not been charged for any offense,
Hmm.
why then have you been placed under a stop departure order? Is that not a denial of your fundamental human rights, the right to move about freely, the right to travel, etc.? Have you asked that question? Why have you been put on a stop departure order?
I asked that, but again, like I said, it's my word against somebody else, right? So it is what it is.
All right, I'm just going to leave FICAC and the supervisor of elections in the background for a moment. I just want to share a letter on the screen. I hope we can share that letter. This is a letter. Um, okay, we've got this letter. Let me read this letter out. This is a letter sent by your father, Satya Narayan, as president of the Narayan Properties LLC, to the permanent secretary to the office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Yogesh Jitendra Karan. Let me read the letter out. And the letter is addressed Mr. Yogesh Jitendra Karan, Permanent Secretary, Office of the Prime Minister, Level 4, New Wing, Government Buildings, Suva, Fiji, 20th April 2020. Dear Sir, donation of medical supplies to support Fijian government's relief effort for COVID-19 and TC Herald, that's Tropical Cyclone Herald. The Narayan family hereby wishes to donate medical supplies to the government of the Republic of Fiji to support its relief efforts to counter the spread of COVID-19 and devastation caused by Tropical Cyclone Herald. We have organized a shipment of a 40-foot container, which includes clinical consumables, sanitary products, hospital beds, crutches, and other medical necessities. Moreover, in 2018, we have donated medical relief supplies worth US $50,000 for flood relief effort, and in 2019, donated US $3,000 worth of library books and sports equipment to A.D. Patel Memorial Primary School in Nandi, US $2,500 donations to Tamavur Primary School in Suva. Please find attached the shipment manifest of the medical supplies, which is valued at US $344,971. We are expecting the shipment to arrive in Fiji sometime in mid-May. Finally, we would like to convey our warm wishes and support to the Honorable Prime Minister for his great leadership in guiding and keeping Fijians safe during this global pandemic. Yours faithfully, Mr. Satya Narayan, President, Narayan Properties LLC, Amherst, Virginia, United States of America. The reason I've read that letter out and made it public, I find it absolutely strange, and I guess many viewers will also wonder why the turn of events. Here is your father praising and sending his wishes and support to the Prime Minister for his leadership. And then we have this huge complaint against you from the General Secretary of the Fiji First Party. What happened? Why the change of attitude? What have you done that's brought this big complaint against you? Tell me.
So, as you know, as you if you're living overseas and you come to Fiji, right? Come to visit Fiji, you get off the plane and you go to Nadi town, you go to Denarau, you take that highway and come all the way to Suva, the villages along the highway nicely waving at you, and you get a coconut or something and come to Suva, enjoy Suva, and see some family and go back home. But when you stay here, that's what happened to me. When you stay here and then you get and you see the real Fiji, the lives, the daily lives of the people, and then you question, or what's wrong, what happened. I know we are, this is not speaking on as a provisional candidate or anything. This is just Fijian from United States. If when what we are told as living in overseas, that there is a boom in Fiji. Okay, we have a boom. boom, economic boom. We have infrastructure boom. Everything is great. It's all rainbows. It's great. But the reality is, when I started living here and interacting more with the local people, I realized something's not right.
Mm.
Something is terribly wrong. And once I questioned that, I was immediately placed on the other side of the fence.
All right. Okay, now tell me, have FICAC said anything at all to you as to when their investigations will conclude? Or will they just keep you hanging on, sweating it out?
I actually asked that question, and I'll share that with you. I was told this investigation could last a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a few years. They don't know. And it all depends where this investigation goes. So that's what I'm told. There is no time limit on this. It could go forever.
Wow. All right. What sort of, I asked you this at the beginning. Now, having discussed what we have discussed, Sajal, what sort of impact has the FICAC investigations had on you and your family?
I mean, it's been challenging. It gives that uneasiness, like I told you earlier. It's uneasiness. It feels unfair to be treated differently in your, and somebody else is getting the different treatment, and you are treated differently for being convicted of something which was which shouldn't even be considered something to be a crime, because everything that has been reported, or as far as the monetary usage, it's all my personal funds. I didn't borrow any money from anybody. I didn't use any public taxpayer dollars, or any overseas donation from any organizations, and I misused those funds where I'm being investigated. This is my own money. It's my right. I decide how I use my money. So
Yes, well,
it's been hard. And I have my parents are in the United States. They're concerned. They see the news articles all the time, and they have no idea what's going on. Then I have my family here, my nana and nani. They were concerned about me. I had to make a 1-day trip just to give them that confirmation that, hey, I'm fine, I'm out, okay, I'm fine. So I went there, made the trip to Mombasa, and I came back. Then obviously my wife at home, we have our discussions all the time, that what could happen next. We don't know what's going to happen.
yeah, I believe all of a sudden certain powers that be have woken up after the Aman Ravindra Singh episode, because at that press conference, and I stand to be corrected, it was the AG who said that there was no need for a stop departure order, as there were no court orders in place. The judgment had not been delivered. But
Mm,
here we have a similar situation where you have not been charged, you've not
mm,
been taken to court, there's no judgment from the court, but yet a stop departure order has been issued. I mean, look, in a country where people have to account for maybe a $5 roti parcel, and they have to account for it in terms of receipts, etc. Well, people say there's method in madness, just remains to be seen what will happen. Now, let me ask you, there must be mental stress, there must be emotions going inside you. Let me ask you, Sajal, is it really, really worth the hassle? Why would you want to pursue this political challenge? Why would you want to put your name forward? Why?
it you know I After what I had in my mind of the way the organizational leadership was here, I feel betrayed. That trust has been broken, and I just feel for the people, because they are voiceless. They don't have any say in anything that happens for them. Any laws that are made for them, they have no say. So I want to be part of that change. That's why I'm in this movement, and I want to be part of the change, so I can bring the difference in those people's lives who are not able to do it for themselves, who are living in that situation where they have no light in their for their future.
Let me say something. This is the first time I've interviewed you. And when I hear you talk as a young person, you're quite young. And, the energy that you show, the confidence that you show, um, I would only say to you, persevere, young man. Persevere. Keep on fighting the good fight. Stay close to your colleagues who will embrace you, who will provide you that support. And with the powers of FICAC and what have you, when the chips fall, it will be seen where it falls. Don't let that persecution get into your mind and make you sick. So be strong and move
Mm.
forward.
Thank
That's my advice to you.
thank you. Thank you.
All right, folks, you're watching Sashi Singh's Talking Point, and our chief guest is Mr. Sajal Narayan, businessman and entrepreneur, and a provisional candidate for the People's Alliance Party. Please like and share the SSTP page on your own timelines so that as many people as possible can be part of today's show. Now, I'm finding today's show absolutely enlightening, and I certainly hope you, our viewers, a lot is being revealed today. Those people sending stars, Sosideni Tamani, Vinava Levu, Kali Charan, thank you very much as well. And to all sending love hearts and likes, thumbs up to Sajal, thanking you as well. Painenam Buna Lakoi, thank you for your stars. Once again, great of you to send stars. Rocky Ralifo, Vinava Levu Rocky, thank you for the stars as well. All right, Sajal, let's change the mood a little bit. Let's change the mood from one of gloom, depression, anger, and madness, hopefully to one of positiveness. You have put your name forward under the People's Alliance ticket. How do you gauge the public support for the People's Alliance?
Um, I've been very fortunate to be with People's Alliance uh, through this journey here. And what I see is when I go and meet people, I see those faces, and they look at us as a something of hope for them. So they look at us. We are giving them hope, and I know that we have good support on the ground. When I meet people, I mean, they always tell us, they want this change. They want to see a change. They want to see a government that is going to be for the people, by the people. That's what we believe in, and it's a journey.
Nicely answered. I like that. Now, there was a People's Alliance rally held at the Rishikul Sanathan College yesterday. What was the main message that came out at the rally? And part two of that question, how did that rally make you feel?
That rally was organized, by Deputy Party Leader Madam Linda Tumbuya. She is the Nasinu president, and I have worked with her team throughout my journey here, and great group of people, very very well organized. And then our party leader was there as well. So this basically it was a message of love and hope. That we the People's Alliance, we are there for love. We are not going to force anybody or make anyone do anything which is not in their cushion, say in their cushion, safety cushion. So it was about love, to be known, to show that, yeah, we are not perfect, but we gonna work for you and make it work for all of us.
And let me
And
remind sorry, Sajal, go ahead.
as far as the rally itself, it was great. We had good attendance from all different parts of Nasinu, majority of it, and unfortunately the rain and the condition of some of our settlements where we were expecting our guests to come from, they were unable to get to us because of the floodings. So that shows, that is some of the things that is still prominent here in Nasinu, because we are so close, right in the city, and we still have these issues where people cannot access roads or access outside of their settlements because of road conditions and floodings.
Now, how did your participation in that rally yesterday, how did it make you feel?
I felt very happy because I was, and I'm like I said, I was very happy to see a lot of familiar faces because working with the Nasinu team, I was able to go to a lot of these places, and these people they came from these settlements, and they knew me by name, and I was like, wow, man, and it was nice. It gave me that sense of peace, that that our work is actually going in the right direction for our party.
You made a very important point yesterday when you said, rather today, when you said that because of the heavy rains, some people from the settlements, the nearby areas, could not attend because of flooding. Now, herein lies the danger in terms of when the writ of elections is going to be filed and when the actual election date will be. Because, as you know, as I know, come November, the rainy season starts, cyclone season starts, and it will be a very, very shameful day that when the election day is announced, if we are in the throngs of a cyclone or an absolutely torrential downpour, you can bet your bottom dollar that people will not be able to turn up, not because they don't want to, but because they'll be prohibited by flooding, etc. So that is something to keep our eyes and ears open for. Now, let me ask you, you're a young man. You said you've joined this movement of Mr. Sitiveni Rambuka, the People's Alliance movement. What are your thoughts of your party leader, Mr. Sitiveni Rambuka?
Uh, you know, even like for myself, I have never known Mr. Rambuka. I have only just known of him growing up as a somebody as a child through his during the time of his leadership, through all the way through kindergarten to class 8. The only man that I knew was our prime minister was Mr. Sitiveni Rambuka, and I've always had that very high respect for him. Um, and then going abroad, and I know he was leader opposition and everything, and uh, but now like working with him, I just feel very privileged, and he's a great man, a great man. I love the way he tackles his issues, and the way he explains, and the way he controls the leadership. As a leader, he takes care of the party and everything. It's 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 giving me as a young politician, giving me very well great inspiration, to be like him. But Mr. Rambuka is a good man. He has great wisdom.
I watched a very poignant photograph, rather, I watched a video at one of your FICAC appearances. Mr. Sitiveni Rambuka was with you. He stood right beside you. He accompanied you to that FICAC investigation. How did that make you feel?
Oh, it made me feel great because it shows that my leader is standing right beside me. It give me the power to fight this. Not feel like I'm alone. I have him backing me, and the thing is, we standing for the truth, and my leader believes in the truth. So I have nothing to really be concerned about because Mr. Rambuka himself believes in me.
Now, there's another young politician. I call her young, Ms. Thambuya. Linda, how do you find her? How do you like working with her?
Uh, I have a lot of respect for Miss Linda Tumbuya. She's our deputy party leader, and again, as as a brand new person in Fiji's political arena, I was very fortunate that Miss Tumbuya allowed me to work with her especially in the Nasinu area where she is the president. So I have learned a lot from her. She inspires me to work hard, to be there for the people. She's the way she's well known in her communities. I wish I will be like her one day.
All right, something to aspire to. Sajal, as we come to the to the finishing tape, let me ask you, what is it that you bring to the table of national politics in Fiji?
Um, I bring my wealth of knowledge. So since I was the age of 12, being in the business field, uh, I have a lot of experience in different aspects of businesses, portfolios through my family businesses. My education, and on top of that, I'm young, energetic, and I know that I can relate to the people, especially the youths, give them the empowerment, and to I can work with them.
All right. Now, think about my next question. Today, you've participated in this program. We've discussed your donations and things whilst you were in the US, those
Mm.
containers that were sent to Fiji. As I said, more than $1 million worth of contribution from you and your dad, the Narayan family, together.
Mm.
Do you think you'll get into trouble? Will it be construed as you trying to buy votes?
Well, if that containers of donations from 2016 comes into the construed as a vote buying, then I think I am a hell of a politician because I've been vote buying since 2015. Just getting the getting into action now in 2022.
And in 2016, you never even thought you'd come and live in Fiji.
No, that's the reason why I never followed up. It didn't matter to me. I just knew it's going there. It's gonna get to the right hands, and people are being helped. I'll keep moving along.
All right. Well, like I said, there's a method of madness, and then there's a method of madness. I just hope that the powers that be, if you're listening to this program, and we know that people do listen, we know that people in high places have spoken about SSTP, get your hat of common sense on. Let's fight the election on a level playing field. It's no point saying in the letter, it is no point saying in the letter at paragraph 2 that we have consistently maintained that all stakeholders, including political parties, must ensure that electoral laws are adhered to. This will ensure, inter alia, that there is transparency, a level playing field for all, blah, 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 blah. Well, let me tell you, ask you another question. What is your message to the people of Fiji, young politician?
Well, my message will. This is a very important year, the election year. Um, I would want
Sajal,
and
stop,
voice
stop.
right.
Sajal, 1 second, please. Uh, as we come into the end, internet seems to be playing again. I'll ask you that question again. Hopefully, we're okay. What is your message to the people of Fiji? Oh, he seems to have gone off. Oh, Lord. um, okay, let me wait for him. In the meantime, let me acknowledge some comments coming. Maureen Anthony writes, "You are such an empowering person that the young needs this kind of empowerment." Sajal, log in if your family members are listening, your support crew, if they're watching. Please log into the studio again. I'll be waiting for you to finish off this interview. And yes, comments are coming. Common sense, unfortunately, not so very common at these times. Salote Talei mentioned that. Lithiana Wangalevu wrote, "Your involvement with the Fijians is just immeasurable. We can all see harmony, love, and you'll stand by your side come the general elections 2022." Uh, and so we're waiting for him to come forward. Uh, Sir, Pastor Eli Ravula was watching. Pastor, Nimbula Vinaka, I haven't seen you for a very long, long time. And John Wanakula writes, "Best of luck, Sajol, Vinaka Vale Sashi." Thank you, John. Thank you very much for your kind comments. Um, Yes, so thank you for all those people who've been sending positive comments. Maybe I will just give my phone to. Let me see if I can quickly call him on his phone. And can you take this, please, and just ask him to relog again? And we'll just keep talking. Look, the writ of elections, as they say, it's just around the corner. It could be filed at any time. And once that writ of election is filed, I have an intention of interviewing all party leaders that are keen, willing, and able to come on this platform. I have given a commitment to the opposition leaders to come forward, and for the 6 Sundays of that program, we will dedicate to the leaders' address, so to say. And on the final Sunday, I have a special program lined up, and hopefully, fingers crossed, in terms of my resources and my own professional workload, if the election is on a Wednesday, hopefully I will have a special election coverage on Monday, Tuesday, and on election night, where we will have a panel of experts discussing matters with us in terms of the election. Now, Sajal is back on the uh, platform. Let's get him up. Sajal, welcome back again. Um,
Hi.
uh, you just dropped out. Let's try to conclude this very quickly.
Okay.
I was asking you, what is your message to the people of Fiji?
My message, like I said, it's a very important year for Fiji. We're right around the corner for the elections, and I would highly encourage each and every one to please register and please vote, because that is your right as a Fijian, and your voice does matter. So please vote, and
Yeah, all right. That's a good message.
uh,
Keep going. All right. Seems the screen is frozen. The criminals
I
don't
would like
like you.
to wish
Keep
each
going.
and everyone.
All right. Let me try this again. Your message just broke up again. You were making a wish. Go on.
Okay, I'll just add to it. I was gonna wish everybody a happy Diwali and a prosperous New Year from myself and my family and myself.
All right, wonderful. And finally, do you have any thoughts and comments about the SSTP program that you've just participated in? Why did you want to come on the program in the first place?
Um, I first and foremost, again, like I said, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to coming on your program. And I know you have done interviews with a lot of mainly all prominent politicians in Fiji and prominent people. So I feel very privileged, and this is a very respected program and a platform to talk about these issues and get our voices across. With someone like you with the experience in the show business, uh, Alex, I just thank you for it. That's all.
Well, you are more than welcome insofar as I'm concerned, and I'm sure my viewers will agree. You have, it's been an enlightening program. You have been very engaging, nice to talk about. And I thank you very, very much. A big dhanyavad, Vanaka Vakalevu to you for being my chief guest in episode 41 of Sashi Singh's Talking Point. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you as a chief guest. You're a young man, and I certainly appreciate and thank you for being so honest and for sharing, very frankly, those hard topics to talk about in such a honest and frank way that you did. regarding your past misdemeanors, etc. Like you said, no one is perfect. And when we're young, we all do something silly every now and then. But those are experiences in life. And I hope our viewers they found today's program interesting as well. Sajal, please pass on to your party leader, Mr. Sitiveni Rambuka, SSTP's open invitation for him to participate in the final countdown programs once the writ of elections is filed. Well, my friend, to you, it's been a huge exposure for you. I wish you all the very best in the forthcoming elections. I certainly hope you get to contest the elections and that all investigations that FICAC and the supervisor of elections is doing comes to a nullity, that it's all null and void, and that you can get to stand for the elections and let the public of Fiji decide. Sajal Narayan, thank you very much. I hope you're an inspiration to young people all over the world. Thank you, Sajal.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you now. Well, thanks to Sajal. Stay well and stay blessed. Nisa Mode Sajal. Now, as promised, please don't go away because I want to share something of importance. It is now time for me to share with you the release by the People's Alliance Party of what they call a new doctrine for Fiji. The People's Alliance Party leader Sitiveni Rambuka has released his Love Manifesto. Not any lovey-dovey type of document, but a document that enshrines what he and his party believes will be the principles and tenets of governance that the People's Alliance-led government will embrace. Now, this is a masterly crafted document that has been crafted bearing in mind that any manifesto that is produced which promises people growth, development, and improvements in their day-to-day lives will have to withstand the draconian electoral laws in Fiji that requires all policies to be costed and presented to the people. And if there's any fluctuations or variances, well, under the draconian electoral laws, the parties will be referred to FICAC, and as I say, they will be FICAC. SSTP has obviously discussed the costing issues with some of my past guests. Today, I believe, it is necessary to share the Sitiveni Rambuka's People's Alliance love mantra with you. Whether you love him or loathe him, for what it's worth, please allow me to share this with you. This is called Let Love Shine, a doctrine for New Fiji. A People's Alliance government will be motivated by the qualities and ideals a nation needs to achieve unity, peace, prosperity, and happiness. We will recognize always that the authority we exercise is not for us, but for the people. We are not their masters, but their servants. They empower us through their votes. We will never forget that our government itself does not have any money. Most of it will come from the taxpayers or from government borrowings to be repaid, again, by the taxpayers. We must remind ourselves constantly that when we build a new bridge, road, or health center, we are not doing the people a favor. We are carrying out the work they have paid for. We were elected to do this for them. We will be just and fair, abiding by the rule of law and the standards of democracy that put the people first. We will speak out and act decisively for truth, the public good, and openness. We will be innovative and visionary in planning the future, drawing on the collective hopes and dreams of Fijians from all walks of life. Above all else, we will be driven by the power of love as the central pillar and principal doctrine of our policies. History and literature show what can be achieved by love in all its forms and in its endless creativity. Love is not weakness. It drives moral strength, purpose and conviction, and willingness to deal with the most complex and difficult problems. It is about showing malice towards none and forgiving those in national leadership who may have wronged Fiji through arrogance and vindictiveness. It embraces humility and empathy, the ability to share and understand the feelings of others. Fear of government has haunted Fiji since December 2006. If the People's Alliance takes office, this fear will be removed. Love will ensure it never returns. To rule through love is to stand with the poorest of the poor and help them to end their hunger and heartache and find new hope for the future. Love is going the extra distance in serving broader works of charity and social and community causes. We praise and honor heroes of Fiji who already do this and will strive to follow their example. Love calls us to end the epidemic of violence against women and children. This makes victims of the weak and vulnerable, destroys families, and brings shame to our country. The young men and boys who engage in dangerous gang violence and thuggery must be guided by love built around firm control and wise counsel. This will take them into new ways of living. If they have broken the law, of course, they must be answerable. Prisoners in our jails should be supported as they prepare for returning to society. That assistance will be underscored by the kind of love and teaching that will help transform them into upright citizens. Love requires us to do a better job of caring for the sick and those who look after them. We feel for the senior citizens who increasingly need special and loving support for their retirement. We will be with them. The demands of love mean we must be kind and considerate neighbors. Our neighbors are not just the families next door, they are everywhere. In an ethnically and culturally diverse community, love is accepting that differences are part of Fiji's national identity and that we all belong here. Through love, we can put aside sometimes uneasy coexistence and lingering suspicions of the past. We will encourage greater mutual understanding and tolerance, especially among the young. Love of Fiji requires us to cherish our environment and the beauty of our islands, trees, plants, animals, and sea creatures. We must come together to rid the land and ocean of pollution and waste that degrade and poison creation. In all of this, we can draw inspiration from some of the great figures of recent history. The towering of South African icon Nelson Mandela was held prisoner for over 27 years. When his freedom came, he had already forgiven his tormentors. He asked the politician who led those responsible for his incarceration to join him in creating a new South Africa with freedom and justice for all. Mahatma Gandhi liberated India through the politics of non-violence. He had no hatred for the oppressors. Martin Luther King did much to break the chains that held back African Americans. He achieved this not through violence or vengeance, but by mobilizing his followers to seek freedom through peaceful protest. Most Fijians follow the world's great religions. Although their teachings may differ, they also reflect rays of truth that enlighten people everywhere. The power of love, peace, and forgiveness are among these. For the People's Alliance, they become our armor, our banner, and inspiration. Join with us in embracing them, and we will go forward together for Fiji, our common home, land of hope and glory, land we love. Let love shine on Fiji. I say congratulations to the architects of that doctrine of love. God bless Fiji as it heads to the next general elections, and that is a manifesto when it is not a manifesto. It's a pledge of love, and love can heal the nation. Well, I thank all those viewers who've taken time to provide their positive feedback with regards to today's program. SSTP, we ask the question that Fijians all over the world want answers to. As I say, Fijians want to know. That's it for episode 41 of today's program. To Nikhil Singh and my SSTP team, I say thank you for your valuable contribution for today's episode. I must also thank all our viewers for watching this program. You are what makes this platform a huge, huge success. Let me now tell you who our chief guest is for next episode. Well, after what I experienced last week, I've decided to hold off announcing the name until I'm truly certain that the guest will indeed appear. So you'll just have to watch out for the poster trailer on the SSTP page on Facebook. I hope you can join us for episode 42 of SSTP next Sunday. I hope to see you next Sunday on Sashi Singh's Talking Point at 11 a.m. Sydney time, 12 noon in Fiji, 1 p.m. in New Zealand, and at 5 p.m. on Saturday afternoon in Los Angeles and San Francisco. Don't be late or you'll need a doctor's note. And let me also add to one and all from the team at SSTP, we wish you all a very happy and safe Diwali and a happy new Indian New Year to you. Happy Diwali, viewers. So until the next episode, I wish you all a very safe and happy week. In closing, I'll leave you with this quote from Martin Luther King Jr., who on the subject of freedom said, "Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed." That quote from Martin Luther King Jr., freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. That quote from Martin Luther King Jr. Well, what a show we've had. Quite a revealing episode with our chief guest, Mr. Sajal Narain. That's it for episode 41 of Sashi Singh's Talking Point. Next week, brand new episode, episode 42. Till the next program, I am Sashi Singh, bidding you goodbye, namaste, and Nisa More. Goodbye, world, and to people celebrating Diwali right around the world, happy Deepavali to you. Nisa More.